All right, let's dive into Claude AI in 2026. Look, it's so much more than just a chatbot now. For a lot of people, it's basically become a work partner. So today we're going to break down everything, from the models that are its brain to the seriously powerful agent features that are changing how we get work done. Let's get to it. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the why, the whole philosophy behind Claude. Then we'll jump into the toolbox of features you actually get to use, and of course, check out the price tags. After that, we'll see how it's being used in the real world, build a personal playbook just for you, and finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future of work. All right, first up, Claude's brain. To really get what makes this AI tick, you first have to understand the company behind it, Anthropic, and their whole approach to building this stuff. And look, this isn't just some marketing fluff. Anthropic's whole deal is AI safety, which means Claude is specifically designed to be more honest when it's out of its depth. So instead of just making up a confident-sounding but totally wrong answer, it's way more likely to just say, hey, I don't know. And if you're using this for actual work, that's everything, right? That reliability is huge. So under the hood, you've basically got 3 flavors of Claude. Think of it like this. Haiku is your speedy sprint runner, perfect for quick, simple things. On the total opposite end, you've got Opus. It's the deep thinking specialist you bring in for the really tough, complex problems. And right there in the middle is Sonnet. That's the workhorse. It's got that perfect balance of speed and smarts that you're probably going to use for like 80% of everything you do. Okay, so that's the brain of the operation. Now let's talk about the hands, your AI toolbox. We're going to cover everything from the everyday basics all the way up to some seriously powerful AI agent features. Right, so everyone starts here with the essentials. You've got your normal chat interface, of course. But then there are cool upgrades like artifacts, which gives you interactive things like code blocks or charts you can actually edit right there. And memory is huge. It helps Claude remember who you are and what you like across different chats, so it gets smarter and more helpful over time. Okay, I gotta stop here for a second because projects, this is a total game changer for staying organized. Imagine creating a totally separate workspace for each of your clients or for a big class project. You feed it only the files and instructions for that one thing, and boom, it becomes a dedicated, specialized assistant for just that part of your life. Now, moving up to Tier 2. This is where Claude stops being just a chatbot and starts becoming a real assistant. You've got connectors that link up to your other apps like Google Drive or Slack. You have extended thinking, which lets the model actually pause and think through a complex problem step by step, giving you a much better answer. And research mode? That basically turns Claude into your personal research intern. And this brings us to skills. Honestly, if you take one thing away from this section, it's this. Mastering skills is what separates the casual users from the people who are getting insane value out of Claude. A skill is just a custom workflow you build one time, and then you can use it forever. It's how you teach Claude to work exactly the way you do. And that leads us perfectly into Tier 3, the agentic suite. Folks, this is the quantum leap. This is the point where Claude stops just answering your questions and actually starts doing the work for you. I mean, just think about what this means. Cowork can go through files on your computer and organize them for you. Claude Code can read your project's entire codebase and start fixing bugs. And computer use, this is the wild one. It can see your screen and control your mouse and keyboard to do repetitive tasks for you in other apps. This is work getting done while you're literally hands off the keyboard. Okay, so we've seen all these amazing, almost sci-fi features. The next logical question is, what's this going to cost me? Let's talk plans and pricing. Let's just start with the number you'll hear most often. $20. $20 a month for the Claude Pro plan. For most people doing any kind of real work or studying with Claude, this is going to be your sweet spot. This is the key that unlocks most of those powerful features we just talked about. So here's the breakdown. You've got the free plan, which is perfect for just kicking the tires, but you'll hit those message caps pretty fast. The Pro plan at $20 gives you 5 times the usage and turns on key things like extended thinking. And if you're working with a team, the team plan is about $30 a person and gives you shared projects and other admin tools. All right, but what if you're like a super heavy user? That's where the max tiers come in. The $100 plan is really for developers who are basically living inside Claude Code all day. And the $200 plan, it gives you a wild 20 times the usage of Pro. It's for people whose entire workflow is powered by AI. And hey, here's a good rule of thumb. If you're not sure you need it, you probably don't. Okay, theory is great. We know the features, we know the price. But what are millions of people actually doing with this thing out in the wild? Let's take a look at the real-world data. So here's what's fascinating. For all the talk about writing poetry or essays, the data is crystal clear. Tech is still king. Coding and other technical tasks make up more than a third of all the conversations people are having with Claude. Right behind that is education, which really shows how valuable it's become as a learning tool. And this next chart, this might be the most important takeaway for understanding how AI is changing work. It's the split between augmentation and automation. Turns out, most people are using Claude as a partner. That's augmentation. They're collaborating with it. Full automation, where you just hand off a task completely, is a little less common. It shows people aren't just offloading work, they're using AI to help them think better. All right, enough data. How do you actually put this into practice? Let's get personal and build a playbook for you, depending on who you are and what you do. If you're a student, listen up. The goal here isn't to get the AI to do your homework for you. It's to build an AI study partner. Use it to summarize those super dense research papers or to quiz you before an exam. And here's a pro tip. Start building a small portfolio of projects where you used AI. It shows future employers that you know how to use these tools for real. Okay, for all the devs and tech folks out there, this is where it gets really exciting. Those agentic tools we talked about, they're your new best friend. You can literally point Claude Code at your entire project and say, find the bugs and fix them. You can use the cowork agent to clean up a messy code base. This is all about automating the grunt work so you can focus on the truly hard problems. So, for our final section, let's zoom all the way out. We've talked about models and features and pricing, but what does all of this mean for the future of your job? Anthropic's research actually gives us a really helpful way to think about this. See, according to the research, AI integration tends to push a job in one of two directions. It either de-skills it or it upskills it. So for a travel agent, AI might automate the hardest part, planning complex trips, leaving behind the more routine work. That's de-skilling. But for a real estate manager, AI could automate the boring bookkeeping, which frees them up for more high-skill work like negotiating big contracts. That's upskilling. So at the end of the day, it's not just about tasks disappearing. It's about the very nature of our jobs being reshaped. And that leaves us with one last really important question you should be asking yourself about your own career. Is AI coming for your most valuable skills or your most tedious ones? The answer to that question could define the next decade of your professional life. Thanks for tuning in.